one thing I wanted to go in was what really intrigued us was something particularly what Candace Owens said. You remember?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Candace Owens has a link between Diddy and somebody who tried to go after Trump. That was what got wild to me. So I want to play this clip, and I don't know if y'all saw this already, but I want to play this. I want to see this clip because I started watching some of it, but I was like, okay, now y'all need to watch this with me. Y'all need to watch this with me because I couldn't believe it.
And Ian Carroll, he's the guy that's on TikTok who does all of these deep dives. Very fun account for you to be following. We'll definitely include him in the links in the description here. So back in 2018, you may not remember this. I certainly did not remember this until Ian Carroll dug this up, but there was a shooting by a man named Jonathan Bodie at the Trump National Doral Hotel in Miami, okay? And this shooting is back in the news, like I said, because Ian Carroll has dug it up. And I'm going to tell you why this is now a very relevant shooting that happened in the past. But first, I'm going to let Ian jog your memory about what exactly took place that day. Take a listen.
This is from back in 2018, and it's sped up, and there's a couple places where the time lapsed, and I won't show you the whole thing. But basically, this guy, Jonathan Bodie, walks in with a gun. Somewhere it just time lapsed. He's got a giant American flag. He drapes it all across the counter. He's pulls down the chandelier, he said. He shoots some rounds at the ceiling, and then he basically just stands there and waits for police to come. He smashes some for apparently no reason, like just committing crimes for the sake of committing crimes, apparently. And then he just stands around with a gun, and now the cops are outside, and he's like kind of giving up and surrendering, but maybe they're not realizing it or accepting it. So then he pulls out a gun, starts shooting at them, doesn't hit any of them as far as I'm aware. He runs out of bullets or something. Not sure what happens exactly, but at a certain point,
it's leading up to it, y'all.
To book it.
Okay, so why is Ian digging up this old shooting? Well, that man, Jonathan Bodie, had a very interesting interview with the police thereafter.
Listen
and
to
we
this.
were told at the time that he was just a madman who was crazy because he was saying some pretty insane things, at least relative to 2018. Like I said, just at the time they were insane. Mm-hmm. He said that he was a sex slave to Diddy and his then girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, that he was their sex slave and he had to have sex with them and other people, that he attended all of these drug-fueled parties. He then claimed that he was paid off by Diddy. And it's worth noting that Jonathan Bodie used to be a porn actor and a male stripper. And he claimed in that interview that he settled with Diddy for $1.25 million. Now, interestingly enough, NBC Miami investigators were able to determine some really rather suspicious financial facts about Jonathan Bodie, like the fact that when he divorced his wife back in 2014, he had a declared net worth of negative $1,800, and he was making just $2,000 a month as a self-employed fitness trainer. But less than a month after his divorce, he apparently fell into some money, a lot of money, because he bought 5 properties over the course of a 2-month period, for which he paid $765,000 cash. I want to be clear, that's quite suspicious. Where was he getting all that money from? Maybe he was telling the truth about being paid off by Diddy. He also claimed that there was an assassination attempt that was being planned for Donald Trump. He spoke about the Black Illuminati, and there's more, okay? He claimed, as he's speaking more about these Diddy parties and speaking about drugs, that there was a quote-unquote hip-hop agenda. Take a listen carefully to what he says here.
The hip-hop agenda is an agenda to move drugs all over the United States. You need to inform the DEA. They move all the dope on private jets, which don't get screened by
customs,
by inside the United States. Okay, they move what's called high-grade powder MDMA. They move cocaine, and they move liquid cocaine in the bottles too. Okay, so they put the liquid cocaine in the bottles and they move it. I've seen the liquid cocaine, I've drank it myself, having sex with Diddy and Cassie. Okay, it's not good. He drinks it all the time. Alright, he calls it G-Juice, but it's liquid cocaine.
Dang.
So just to slow that down for you in case that audio wasn't clear for you, what he is saying is that the hip hop agenda is essentially to move drugs into the United States, to use these hip hop stars to move drugs onto their private planes. And those private planes are intentionally not checked by the Border and Custom Control, and that they're moving things like liquid cocaine, which he says Diddy refers to as Tucci, which is cocaine mixed with MDMA. Now, that's from 2018. When Lil Rod dropped his lawsuit against Diddy, he spoke about this pink cocaine, this liquid cocaine that they were replacing in all of the bottles. So people were coming over, like I just said in the monologue, and were thinking they were having a regular drink at Diddy's house, but in reality,
super dirty.
They were being drugged. And you've got the MDMA effects plus cocaine that's also been known that Tucci is mixed with other psychostimulants. So just imagine why it is, perhaps, that LeBron James says that Diddy has the absolute best parties. This guy was saying that then, that our government is somehow involved in moving this stuff into America. Now, why is that very easy to believe? Well, because our government has been involved in moving drugs for a very long time. Now, I know there are people out there that really love to watch a good Netflix show and to believe that the DEA was established because we had to stomp out all of these Mexican cartels.
So that just wraps it up, babe.
Yeah. So when he said, she said that part about they were aware of assassination attempts too. Like, it was said, like, some conversation of Diddy have involvement on things.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how ironic is that? It's like so many things are connected, and I honestly didn't think he was going to get locked up. I really didn't. I felt like he was just so powerful. I was surprised that they were going to lock him up. I just didn't think it was going to be that. I thought he was going to get home or, house arrest, but they are really taking it seriously. And I feel like it's because it goes higher up.
Oh, yeah. Levels.
I heard on Fox today, they said he's at the top of the chain, but really he's not. He's at the top of the chain up to where he is, but there are some people that are even higher that stand on top of him.
And you know what it makes me think of? Y'all remember last year, right? And when all the Sound and Freedom stuff was really big. And we did this reaction video to this lady who was a part of that trade market, I'm going to say that. And she talked about the levels of high-level people that were involved in that. And so how we don't know if some of this stuff ain't related to him, like him and your Epstein.
But that's who they're comparing him to. And I was like, wow, they're comparing him. They're putting him in the same category as Epstein and Weinstein.
Yeah.
That is absolutely. But the thing too is with Weinstein, many people knew about that in Hollywood. No, it's Jeffrey Epstein and Harvey Weinstein.
Okay.
Or vice versa.
Go ahead. You got it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
But nevertheless, y'all know who I'm talking about. It's like, how is it, that there is a culture around that type of behavior and it's being accepted in those realms. They talked about that too on the clip that I looked at. I think it was TMZ, because I've been looking at quite a bit of stuff. I have to take breaks, but just, wanting to know more so we can help other people, other young people, understand that that's not the lifestyle. And it was a choice. He did horrible things. He was a horrible person. He was a goon. And that's exactly how I feel. He was a goon. He made some horrible decisions, even though he is human. And hopefully this situation this is what I want out of the situation for him. I want him to be able to repent and change from his ways to God, because nobody can judge another person. However, he was a horrible person, because those things he did to people were just horrible. And he'll be a better man. He'll find out who God is and who Christ is, give his life, and make his kids proud of him, because he's still a dad. Those kids are having to deal with all the repercussion, and I hope that he doesn't try to take himself out and nobody takes him out in prison.
That's funny you just said that. Tommy said, did they unalive Diddy in his cell yet? There was a bunch of...
He's on watch. He's on suicide watch.
Suicide watch, and then there was a bunch of conversation that people would come after him just to say, for bragging rights. But I'm sure that, I don't know if they have him in the same spot with the general population yet. They said he was in another certain part, so he might not be in gen population to where he could be accessible. But Why would, my question is, they wasn't doing R. Kelly like that. R. Kelly was singing in jail, telling folks be quiet so he can sing loud.
Stop it. Well, R. Kelly, he did some things, but when you compare him to the things that he did and the things that Diddy did, you know, it's a difference. Let me not minimize what R. Kelly did, because he did some wrong too, lots of wrong, and he treated people, not women, not good as well. However, it's still a difference. I don't know if it was alleged that R. Kelly had hits on people. I don't know that. I don't remember hearing about that in the documentary that we watched, or the articles that we watched or read.
No, I hadn't heard anything like that. To me, when it comes to all the people that got taken in for stuff like that, R. Kelly was on the low end of the totem pole. He was just doing his bad stuff, and his perversion stuff with younger women. And
he didn't have the bread to keep people quiet over the course of those years.
Right.
That people just liked R. Kelly. I felt people kind of liked him.
Well, my question is, let me just go back on this little piece.
Maybe.
What if it's true and Diddy had some involvement in assassination attempt at Trump?
Well, I mean,
wouldn't that would be almost unbelievable.
I know, but I just feel like, it's a lot of that stuff is connected, and we'll never know. They don't care. They don't like him no way. So it ain't gonna make. I don't think they would move on that. That's the least of their concern.
Yeah, right. True.
Sad to say, but that's the least of their concern. Their main concern is the sex trafficking, racketeering, and what was the other one?
And it was sex trafficking, racketeering. Was it the gun? No, it couldn't have been the guns, because his sexual parties and all that stuff they can't lock you up for baby or sexual stuff.
They don't care about the perversion.
They can't lock you up for the perversion stuff.
Yeah, they don't care about that.
What you looking up?
So we can move on to the next subject, because we'll be talking about this.
I know the Diddy thing could go forever.
Yeah,
so I want to switch into the other topic.
But let's continue to pray for him, great people, that he does change his life. This will give him a change of heart, and his family is going to go in his family needs healing, and their kids are going to move, even though they're adults, still they're going to move in a positive direction.
I personally think,
the mother of the kids.
And I personally think the man will be in jail. If Epstein was in there and Weinstein was in there, Diddy's going to be. It's unfortunate. It's no different. And then they denied him bail and stuff like that. So that's not a good sign.